What's going on, guys? We are officially done with all the advanced variations. Hoorah. Can I get a hip hip hooray? Alright then, fuck you too. Uh, First ones we're going to go into is the fantasy variation. After we just finished the uh, advanced variation. And in the fantasy variation, there's a gambit line, which the name will trump fantasy variation. It's called the Milner Gambit. And there's a couple other names for it, which I forget what they are. It's like the Zingler Attack is one of them, and it's got a different name too. But where do we go? Here we are. E4, C6, D4, D5, and then the fantasy variation, also called the Meraxi Attack, is F3. So from here, let's explain what a gambit is first. From white, this would be a gambit. E4, E5, D4. Instead of capturing the pawn, you offer a gambit, which is a free pawn. And black can take it for a speedy development by white. White can come in and develop their bishop to C4, offering a second pawn. And black captures on B2, and then white attacks again. So you can tell the development for white is huge for the cost of 2 pawns. 2 extra pawns. I know that white's missing 3, but black is missing 1. So if you look, both bishops are already gunning down the black king side. The queen has open lines to go wherever it wants. The king is 1 move away, developing the knight away from castling. You have a pawn in the center, guarding D5 and F5. That's what a gambit is. And back in the day, like, it was unmanly to not take a gambit when it was offered to you. So back to the Milner Gambit. Black will capture the E4 pawn, and instead of white recapturing F3 take E4, plays the gambit. Develops the knight to C3 from B1. And black will go ahead and accept the gambit, and white will recapture on F3 from G1. So if you look here, same principle. Development is off the chain. Black, all pieces are on the starting square except for 1 pawn. White has already had both knights developed. It's got a central pawn. It's got open lines for both bishops. The queen has access to get out, and it's almost ready to castle. So black has to do something, and main move scores the best. Proper move is knight develop F6. And white is trying to castle, so it'll develop its bishop. It's got a couple options. I mean, it could always go bishop D3. Does kind of leave that D pawn weak. You can go pin the knight, and then that pawn is going down very swiftly. If it goes with the standard line, bishop C4, which is all the lines we're going to be covering, there's a couple things you got to watch out for. You want to develop your bishop to F5. If you do something and make a mistake of developing the bishop to G4, white's got a couple tricks up his sleeve. You can come in and check, sacrifice that bishop, and if you look, white is still up 2. Once you recapture, it's got this neato trick. Knight jumps in to E5, re-attacking your king. And once you dodge the bullet, then it's going to come in and capture your bishop. Even material. Yes, the knight can capture on G4, but then the queen can capture on G4 as well. Still even material. 6 pawns, knight and a bishop, queen, 2 rooks each. But now Black has lost the opportunity to castle. It's missing the vital F pawn, and it's not good. You always got to watch out for in the fantasy variations for that bishop sacrifice or a knight sacrifice on f7, because a lot of the lines do have it hidden in there somewhere. So the proper move anyway is f5. And white will go ahead and march its knight to e5, doubling up the attack on this weak f7 square now. If you look, you really only have one way to block it good. I mean, you could always put the bishop here, I guess, or, you know, even bring in the knight, but those both score bad. You know, it's +3. This is +2. The only way to remotely stay at your advantage is pawn pushed up to e1. If you want pawn, and from here, if white castles, you got a couple options. Your best option is honestly moving the bishop to g6. If white captures your bishop on g6 with the knight on e5, you recapture with the h pawn. Now that'll open up a line for your your rook, and you would want to move your queen to c7 and attack that king. And good lines for you. If instead of castling, it does the smartest thing and moves up the pawn. Oh, I also will mention if it castles, you got this cool move right here. Bishop take queen. C2 pawn. If it made the mistake of capturing, you get the pawn, queen to d8 to d4 with a check. Once the king moves, you pick up the knight. Queen d4 x e5. And instead of capturing the bishop, white's best move is actually knight x f7. And you don't want to move the queen. You just want to go ahead and kill their queen. Bishop c2 x d1 and let them capture yours. You capture the horsey. They capture your bishop. You're up material, and evaluation will put you at like +1 or 2. So from here, like I said, if white does the cool thing and moves his pawn to g4, you could always duck back. Your best bet is knight to d7. If white kills your bishop, you come in with a check with your queen. Once it decides what it's going to do, it's got 3 options. If it takes the worst of the 3, you come in with a check. Once it moves, or if it moves, you take the knight. If it blocks with the knight, then you take the bishop. The other move is right here. In that case, you want to take the knight on e5 with your d7 knight once it recaptures. Queen h4, take c4. That comes with a check. And if it moves the king in the best of the situation to f1, same thing. Knight capture knight, d7 x e5. Once d4 captures e5, queen h4 capture c4. You guys following? I know it's a lot. If it doesn't capture the bishop like that, and it decides to take the knight, which is the worst for him, it looks retarded. You got a bishop hanging, you just gave up a knight for free, but you got this insanely strong move, queen h4 check. Like, again, it's got nothing to block. Once it moves, bishop f5, capture g4, attacking the queen now. And it can either move the queen, or if it blocked it with the knight, then you would just capture d7 with b8. If it took the most aggressive line and put a bishop out on e2, you gotta go ahead and capture that. G4 take E2. Once it recaptures with either of the pieces, that's when B8 captures D7. And if you look at the material, you are up 2 pawns, and you can still castle. White is unable to castle. They're a long way away from getting their king protected, and the computer evaluation right now puts you at nearly 3.5. So that's about as far as I want to dive down this line. I know I was kind of going fast there, but what you can get out of it is this is the beginning of the Milner Gambit. It's also called the Rasa-Studier Gambit. And it would be a mistake to pin the knight from here. And when they come in, you want to block the double attack. And if they come in with the pawn, you gotta remember the awesome move, knight to d7. But like we said, they have options. So if they castle, the safest bet is here. If you want to get froggish, you could always suicide with the bishop. You're going to have a fantastic game regardless. If you do suicide with the bishop, if you look at the analysis, they're only... where'd it go? Jumped way forward. Their only good move is knight take f7. If you look, that's the only positive evaluation is this. They'd have to find that. If they ended up taking the queen, that's negative in your favor. So it's a very strong line. A lot of confusing things to go by. But if you watch this video, hopefully you're 2 steps ahead of the rest of them. I do appreciate you, and I will catch you on the next video. Ciao.